Hi, and thank you for tuning into this session all about mental health and well-being. At the school bus, it's really important that we are connected to our users in order to provide resources that are relevant and most needed. And during such a difficult period, the area of mental health and well-being is certainly an area where people feel they need more support. So today we are joined by Sam from TeachStrong, who seek to revitalise staff well-being. And Sam is going to be running through some tips and ideas which we really hope will help you. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you very much, Claire. Right, so today we're going to explore some strategies to reduce stress and anxiety, as well as discuss ways we can manage our time more effectively and rest and recover. Throughout this talk, you'll learn simple but effective strategies that you can use to help you feel calmer, boost your mood, and create time for yourself. Make sure you stick around to the end to find out how you can get your hands on free resources. These resources will allow you to put into practice all of the approaches that we are going to cover today, and they can be easily applied to your busy routine. So thank you again for the introduction, Claire. As Claire said, my name is Samuel Hart and I'm a teacher and science coordinator at a primary school in Birmingham. And I've worked in schools for over 10 years across a range of different settings. Outside of the classroom, my company TeachStrong is empowering school staff to take ownership of their health and well-being. By optimising lifestyle, staff can thrive in and out of the classroom, and we're passionate about using evidence-based approaches to take educators on this journey so that they can be the best possible version of themselves and in turn be strong role models for their pupils. Now, those who work in schools have so much potential for professional and personal growth, but unfortunately this can sometimes be limited because of the demands of the job. So we show staff that with just a few tweaks to their habits and their environment, they can fulfill their potential and be the best version of themselves. As I mentioned, this presentation is all about you exploring strategies to reduce stress and anxiety, finding out how you can manage your time more effectively, and learning what you can do to rest and recover. So let's first look at some quick and easy strategies that you can start implementing from today that would help reduce stress and anxiety around the current situation, all of which are steps you can pass on to the staff at your school too. Now, we know that the ever-changing guidelines and constant barrage of news stories plays a major part in increasing stress and causing those feelings of doubt around whether the right decisions are being made for your pupils and your staff. So to address this, I'd start with this strategy, CLN, choose, limit, notice. The C stands for choose. Choose to get your information from reputable sources. Look to Public Health England, the NHS, the World Health Organization, and other large scientific organizations. In your role, you will already be following the guidance from these sources, whose guidelines are based on the best available science. Have confidence in their recommendations and trust that the decisions being made are the best for your school. Contrary to this, choose to avoid speculation from certain news companies and social media. Sometimes a story can break, or we see our friends post something on Facebook that contradicts the current guidelines. But it's likely to be speculation and so causes unnecessary worry. Often these stories are not founded on fact, or they're not considering the bigger picture. So focus on those good sources of information and avoid certain news companies and social media. The next step, the L, is limit. So set a limit on how much news you consume. Once a day is plenty to keep updated with development, and also means you're limiting your exposure to speculation, which drains our energy and is a waste of time. Watching every news bulletin, every announcement, and having notifications from news apps popping up on our phone is not helpful. It's often contributing to more anxiety about the situation and not teaching us anything new. If there is an important announcement, don't worry, you will find out. And the third step is N for notice. So notice, are you getting overwhelmed with every single detail? I realise it's challenging because in your position, you have to know details than others, but can you find a balance? If you notice yourself getting overwhelmed, what tactics have worked for you in the past? Talking to a colleague, getting advice from Public Health England, having just a complete break? Embrace these tactics and allow yourselves time to step away when needed. Okay, the next step we can take is summed up by this quote. When you stop worrying about what you can't control, you have more time to change the things you can control. So while you may not agree with some of the guidance, it might not be a good use of time to ruminate over it. It's not easy to switch off from what you can't control, I know, but it pays to train the brain to have this outlook on life, not just now, but also for your professional and personal growth for years to come. Try to direct your energy towards what you can do to make a difference to pupils' experiences and environment at school. This is likely to be aligned with your values as a human and as an educator. And so it's much more empowering, a much more empowering perspective to have. And linked to this is your next strategy around worry and around focusing on those things that you can control. And that is to schedule time to worry. Because of course I understand that part of your job is to worry about these things and put measures in place. But can you schedule specific time during the day to do your worrying rather than let it take over your entire day? So try not to let it consume you. We know that multitasking is a myth, and it is far more efficient to tackle one job at a time rather than switching between several. So schedule this time and stick to it rigidly. Okay, now, if this whole presentation was condensed into one quote, it could be this: treat yourself as if you are someone you are responsible for helping. To think about what advice would you give to another person in the same situation. We often don't follow this advice ourselves, do we? If a friend, colleague, or family member was feeling anxious, what would you tell them? Perhaps you could write this down or even record yourself saying it and play it back. This could be a bit of a challenge that you set yourself. I know it's a little awkward, but it can be incredibly useful. Think about what tips you would give your future self when things get challenging, and then read or listen back to yourself when needed. Because the fact is, you've got a vital role to play in all of this, not just in the current situation, but in the wider world once this is over. So you are morally obliged, as Peterson would put it, to take care of yourself. Right, moving on. What other more long-term approaches can you apply during the day that have been proven to help with stress and anxiety? We're going to look at 3 strategies that do require a bit of effort and consistency, but can result in lasting changes when it comes to your well-being. The first is meditation. Now, meditation is an ancient technique where we focus on a single point, such as our breath, a thought, an image, or a mantra. It's been shown to reduce stress and anxiety, increase feelings of calm and compassion, improve memory, improve attention, improve productivity, and more. All benefits that those working in schools would appreciate now more than ever. Now, often when people think of meditation, they picture being sat under a tree in a cross-legged position, perhaps with some incense burning and panpipe music playing in the background. So it can be seen as this new age, wishy-washy thing that other people do that isn't suitable for our fast-paced, busy lives. But research has shown us that it is anything but wishy-washy and does not need to be complicated or time-consuming. It's an incredibly powerful activity that would benefit so many people, and in fact could be one of the most simple, accessible, and effective things that you do to boost your well-being. And what do you need to do to enjoy these benefits? Just sit in a comfortable position and follow your breath for however long you decide to. Nothing more, nothing less. And yet, doing this has profound effects on physical, mental, and emotional well-being. The simplest form of meditation looks like this. You can find somewhere comfortable, sitting or lying down, set a timer, could be for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or even just 1 minute, and then follow these steps. So first, we follow our breath. Inevitably, your mind will wander. We notice this wandering, and then we reorientate our attention back to following our breath. So your mind will wander over and over again, and that's okay. Experienced meditators have wandering thoughts. It's not about controlling this or blocking thoughts. We just notice them and then come back to the breath. And every time we bring our attention back to the breath is training for the brain, resulting in all of those benefits that I mentioned earlier. It's like lifting weights for your brain. So try making this a part of your routine. You could do it in the morning, as soon as you get up, or in the evening, just before bedtime, but try and do it in the same place every day. So in that way, you can associate a space in your house with where you meditate, and that can be a great way of making it a part of your routine and making it a habit that will last. To help with that, to help with introducing it to your routine, you can find a short guided meditation in your Wellbeing Toolkit, which can be downloaded by clicking on the link in the description. The next is mindfulness. So when we get down to the true meaning and the true application of mindfulness, we see that this is also a practice that has so much potential to reduce stress and anxiety and boost well-being. Mindfulness is regularly reminding ourselves to be in the present moment, whether it's meditating or doing a specific activity. Mindfulness is the act of training the mind to focus on the now and grounding yourself in the present, as opposed to thinking about the past or the future. And here is where the magic happens. We connect with our thoughts, our feelings, and our bodies and notice exactly what is happening, rather than being in autopilot mode and reacting to situations in an automatic way. If we tap into this possibility of living more in the moment, then we are more likely to notice the little joys around us, connect meaningfully with people, and reduce worries about what has happened or what may happen. There are so many opportunities during the day to be more mindful, and I want to give you one example of a time when you can immerse yourself in the moment. When you do this regularly, you can start to enjoy all of these benefits of slowing down and pressing the pause button. So your activity is the mindfulness kettle, as we like to call it. So your cup of coffee or tea can be a great reminder to ground yourself in the present moment. So the next time you make yourself a hot drink, follow these steps. Step 1, just turn on the kettle and take a few deep breaths. The next step is just to listen to the sound of the water boiling and enjoy having these few seconds doing nothing. Then, when it's ready, slowly pour the water into your mug. Notice the change in colour, enjoy the smell of your brew and feel the warmth of the drink in your hands. And then take a couple more deep breaths, close your eyes and take your first sip. Notice the taste and enjoy this moment. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But what a great reminder throughout your day to stop just for a few minutes. So I really encourage you to try it. Again, these steps can be found in your Wellbeing Toolkit, so check that out. And finally, gratitude. Gratitude is simply being thankful for anything that impacts your life in a positive way, and to really show those things an appreciation. We can sometimes lose sight of what's important and get caught up in negativity and the stresses of work life and home life. Now, throughout evolution, our brains have been wired to be on the lookout for potential threats to our safety. Before those threats were a saber-toothed tiger or an angry tribe that's looking to claim our land. But now these threats have been replaced by anxieties about planning or data or parents or pupils. But through gratitude, we can train our brains to look for the positives in life rather than holding on to and ruminating over these threats. This truly can be such an effective and quick way to change your state, because you can't be anxious and stressed and feel gratitude at the same time. So by regularly and intentionally switching to grateful thoughts, we can refocus our attention on all the fantastic aspects of our lives, and in that way be in a better position to conquer the more difficult moments, both at school and at home. So to introduce a little more gratitude to your day, I suggest this simple activity, the 3 good things activity. And it follows these steps. Just before going to bed, you make some time to reflect on your day. You think about 3 things that made you smile, and then write them down. Write each of those down in a journal, in your notebook, whatever it is. But really connect with the feeling that they are creating inside of you and embrace those feelings. And that's it. Just 3 things that make you smile during the day, write them down. But doing this consistently can start to rewire your brain to reduce worries about the negative things that are going on, and instead be more positive and approach the challenges at work in a more effective and productive manner. So again, the 3 good things activity is found in your toolkit, which you can download and follow. And that's it for the more long-term approaches that you could take. Meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude are all incredibly powerful practices. And by making time for them, you'll give yourself the opportunity to lower stress, feel calmer, and feel more positive. You can explore these approaches in much greater detail in our Inner Wellbeing course. In this online course, you'll dive deeper into the research and be given several resources to help you introduce these practices into your day, so that you can enjoy all of these amazing benefits and put yourself in the best position to thrive in and out of the classroom. And the details for those courses can be found on our website if you're interested. Okay. Let's move on to managing our time more effectively. This is really important because time can often be another source of stress, can't it, for many of us who work in schools. First of all, I'd like to say that all the approaches that I've mentioned already would go a long way in helping you create a bit of headspace and gain that wider perspective needed when looking at a problem or challenge. And this can really help us feel like we have more time because we've taken a step back when we meditate or when we are more mindful. We can use those things to take a step back and then look at the whole situation. And by calming down, we'll be much more effective at confronting any issues that need dealing with. And I want to also offer you a great written activity that can help to free up more time for yourself and create a bigger picture of what needs to be done. And this activity is called the Urgent Important Matrix. And this is a handy little tool which you can find in your toolkit, which will help you manage your time more efficiently. So by sorting your different tasks by urgency and importance, you'll be able to decide what to prioritize, what to delegate, and what to not do at all. The idea is that we add all of the tasks that take up time during our day to this matrix. We consider whether they are urgent or important and add them to the appropriate section. So urgent tasks are those that require us to stop what we are doing and work on those instead. And important tasks are those that lead us towards our goal. So for example, a crisis or a last-minute deadline would be urgent and important. So we'd put that in the first quadrant, labelled urgent and important. Now, so we do these tasks first. They are critical and need to be finished. Now, tasks that are not urgent but are important, for example, your long-term vision and the steps to get there. And that could be the school improvement plan, your self-care, building and maintaining relationships with your staff and the children. These go into the second quadrant. You should plan when you'll do these tasks. They are in line with your long-term goals and values, but don't need to be done right away. And this second quadrant is ideally where we want to live, where we want to spend most of our time. Because important things are never urgent. It's never urgent to exercise 3 times a week. It's never urgent to eat healthy meals or urgent to go to sleep early. But of course, they are vital. And often they get pushed back by what we see as urgent. So the goal is to organise our week so that we have more time for these important things. We then have the third quadrant, urgent and not important. Examples of this could be interruptions like phone calls, emails, and other people's demands on your time. Here we want to avoid and delegate. So these tasks don't get you closer to your goal. They may seem urgent and cause you to stop what you're doing to tend to them, but in reality, it could wait, or you could delegate them to someone else. And the fourth and final quadrant is not urgent and not important. These are the tasks that we want to delete or reduce. Tasks that are simply a waste of time and should be eliminated or minimized. And this will free up more time to invest in your quadrant 2 tasks. Things we might find in here are scrolling through social media, YouTube browsing, Netflix, and other small activities where we are procrastinating. And of course, we all indulge in some of these things, I know I do, to help me relax and switch off, but we should just be more conscious of what we are consuming and how we are spending this time. Now, let's think about rest. Another aspect linked to managing stress and anxiety for sure is the amount of rest you are getting. And sleep plays a huge part in this. We know that the quality and quantity of sleep that we get is essential to improving productivity, decision-making, positivity. And so we need to see sleep as an act of self-care. It is in fact, it's essential that someone in your position is sleeping well. So some people might say you've got a moral obligation to sleep better. And sleep is such a broad topic, and there are so many factors to address that could help your sleep, could help you sleep better, and wake up feeling well rested. It's really important to address this area of lifestyle. So I want to offer you 3 tips for a good night's sleep. Number 1 is to switch off. Switch off screens 30 minutes before bedtime. We know that the light emitted from screens can make it difficult for us to fall asleep and even interrupt our sleep during the night. So opt for reading, reflecting, or chatting with loved ones instead. Second tip is write it down. Any thoughts or worries that you have, maybe it's going over what you've got to do the next day or thinking back to something that happened during the day, write it down. This is a great way to unload what you're thinking onto paper and create that space. Tell yourself you'll deal with it in the morning when you are well rested. And number 3 is to move and meditate in the morning. A good night's sleep starts as soon as you wake up. And if you add a little exercise and a moment to pause and breathe in the morning, it will help you drift off later that night. Now, it doesn't have to be long. It could just be a couple of minutes of moving the body while the kettle boils in the morning. And it could be just a couple of minutes sat down with your eyes closed. Both of those things could make a world of difference. Now, if you are really struggling with your sleep and you're keen to make positive changes in this area of your life, then you can access our online course, the Sleep Soundly course. And again, more details for that can be found on our website if you're interested. And aside from sleep, another thing to think about is, well, another thing in relation to rest is to think about how rest can be an active process. Some approaches can take effort, but are more effective in re-energizing us and helping us feel rejuvenated. Good examples are meditation, exercise, and spending time with friends and family. So I'd say embrace those things, make time to actively rest. And also as a kind of a side note, definitely consider the fact that we know that seeing friends can help lift us up and rejuvenate us, lift our spirits. And at the moment we can meet up with one other friend outdoors. And so I would say this isn't just optional, this is actually essential to your well-being and helping you look after yourself. So yes, schedule time to do nothing and switch off, but also schedule time to listen to a guided meditation, go for a walk, or connect with that friend. It will go such a long way to helping you recalibrate and reset, ready for the next day. Okay, right, we're going to start to wrap up now. To recap, we have covered a variety of approaches to help you reduce stress and anxiety, manage your time, and get some much needed rest. We have discussed using choose, limit, notice to remind us how we can look at the sources we are consuming. We've considered the value of where we direct our worrying and realize that we must treat ourselves with a bit of compassion in order to continue to look after others. We then moved on to exploring the power of meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude, and learned a few simple techniques that we can use to apply them to our lives. And finally, we explored a really useful activity for managing our time and looked at some simple habits that can help us recharge our batteries. Remember, you can download your toolkit containing 4 of these techniques that are a great way to introduce yourself to positive changes you can make to your lifestyle to thrive in and out of the classroom. Just click the link in the description, pop in your email, and you'll be sent the toolkit straight away. So I'm so glad you could join us for this presentation, and I really look forward to hearing how these strategies have helped you feel calmer and more positive. So a big thank you to Claire, big thank you to the school bus, and yeah, hope to connect with you all soon.
Oh, thank you very much, Sam. That was a brilliant session and some really great tips, which I know myself I will be using. So I hope everyone else does too. And thank you for everyone that joined and has listened to this session. Hope you enjoyed and have a great day. Thank you.